Fasturvalt, hear me. It has been over 3 months since your liberation, when my army arrived and rescued you from the avaricious grip of the dwarves, when Lawless He Who Liberates rescued you from the stupidity of Lord Gani, the simpleton who traded your lives and futures for a mountain of sweets.
Silent image, a towering pile of decoratively wrapped surface candy.
3 months since your lives were shaken, and you've been terrified since, and who could blame you? I know the rumors. Drow are unremittingly evil. They'll slave you, throw you in their dark coliseums for pleasure and profit. They'll flinch not just your body, but your soul. Crush everything you are and everything you ever hoped to be. Every word is a cloaked dagger, every smile a lie just waiting for weakness. You and your ancestors have been told this so many times, the very knowledge is embedded right into your soul.
Rilinid pauses, then offers a heartfelt expression to the crowd. He sits down on the raised platform, feet dangling from the ledge, and actually loses his composure, breaking down into a series of run-on sentences.
But let me tell you all a story. One I never tell, one you might not believe, but I'll tell anyway, because we've got this private moment, you and I, right now, when none of my kind can understand me. It's the story of a young boy, the first of 5, born to a domineering mother who used him for her dark rituals. The story of a young boy who was raised as a pariah in a cruel and malevolent society where only women were valued. This young boy, he had it worse than any other drow boy, for not only was he a boy, but he was a special boy. See, the demon lords, most foul and corpulent, belched a prophecy to the noble houses of the drow. They said that this boy and his siblings were born under great portents, and if left alive, they would rise in place. These children would grow stronger and stronger until they could overthrow the dread queen herself. This young boy and his siblings would revolutionize drow society, tear down the power structure, ruin everything the nobles had betrayed and murdered to gain. And the demon lords, who had derived power from these wicked houses, knew this boy had to be stopped.
At this point, the frenetic Rilinid vigorously stands and begins peeling off his clothes, not so much to reveal his rakish physique, but to showcase his numerous scars, the near-death experiences.
These lines here, those were for my mother's athame, as she drained my lifeblood for demonic pacts. On my thighs, the barbed whips of my cruel peers, who had cornered me and flayed me apart. You look at my skin and assume I mean to ruin you all, but what do you know of my life?
Rilinid begins to stride up and down the pavilion, arms gesticulating, voice ever rising.
I am a pariah of my own people, taunted, excoriated for my desire to learn other languages, ripped apart for my need to understand other cultures. For these supposed crimes of tolerance, I had a dagger plunged into my backside 5 decades ago, an assassination attempt that nearly succeeded as my family and I tried to flee the wrath of the demon lords.
Rilinid stops, and his expression hardens.
Do any of you know how poison feels? Or how sacrifice feels? When you dive in front of a blade to save a loved one? To shamble weakly from the only place you've ever known, across the molten terrain of the earth's womb, to lay weakly upon a bedroll at night, nearly in a coma, thinking that not only will you die, but that your family will you die. Do any of you know what it feels like to lose everything?
Dramatic pause, and he slowly begins to reassemble his outfit.
But those are just words, right? Words from a drow you were taught not to trust. Then again, if I had followed everything I was taught, I would have raised Fasturvalt and sacrificed each of you to some fell god.
Shirt on again, Rilinid combs his fingers through his hair.
There is wisdom to be found from the old god. Venerable Tamar, even the stones listen, and Miatha, always a song follows, have earned your respect through years of dedicated effort and care. They are right to tell you to distrust me. Honestly, you would be fools to accept me in 3 years, much less 3 months. But just because you respect them doesn't mean they're right.
Rilinid then offers a knowing smile and waves his hand dismissively.
Right, I say those words, and then you think about how your lives have been. The terror, the uncertainty. Some of you were at the wall when the dwarves fired their crossbows. Some of you know how noble Gunther, as certain as the stone, died, riddled with those same bolts.
At this, a silent image of Gunther appears, felled by dwarven bolts.
Nevertheless, you've been occupied by Drow, and Governor Tarlin's attempts to protect and pacify you have been interpreted poorly.
The rake pauses, then half turns towards the gallery, filled with the webbing of the Skisral outcasts.
To help my governor with his task, I entrusted 2 rescued Skisral outcasts to help protect Fasturvalt. They were pariahs from the fungal jungle, just like me. How could I not give them a chance? Had I known how they would glut themselves, the contrivances that would be made to satiate their hunger.
A downcast look, fists clenched.
My siblings and I have since executed those creatures, but their actions cannot be forgiven, nor are they indicative of all Skisral. They're not only peaceful, well, they're not really peaceful, but they do mean well. Just a few hundred of them living along the northern edge of the fungal jungle, not far from the mushroom-like Zan, whose rich culture and history could enrich your life as well as mine.
Pause, then slanted eyebrow.
Speaking of rich culture and history, did you all know of the glorious Svirfneblin Empire, which existed in said jungle several hundred years ago? On the Isle of Seven Horns are the remains of the glorious Volsenstadt, and time has not weathered down its incredible majesty. Do the merchants who travel along the King's Highway know this? Has Tamar himself shared stories of it, of the incredible submersible Underblad that can dive to the bottom of the lake and fly across it in mere hours? Of the fallen Himmelsvard, sword of the skies, that once flew through the air itself at the behest of this great kingdom. Of the great telescope resting in a once beautiful observatory that could not only see from one side of the jungle to the other, but once allowed Svirfneblin to see the stars themselves. How about glorious sky-touched mountain? Do any of you know? Anyone here?
Rilinid opens a belt pouch, showering gold coins into a hand.
These coins, they were minted in Volsenstadt, this once incredible Svirfneblin kingdom, now lost from your memory. I've been there. I've beheld the wonders of your people. Have any of you?
The gold coin shower continues, pieces clattering onto the pavilion.
Each of you in attendance will receive 2 of these coins. You may do whatever you wish with them, spend them in the market, melt them down to test their quality, send them to a cousin in Claddenvold to test my truth. Keep them, and admire that you have a piece of deep gnome history that you could one day make reality.
Rilinid sweeps its hand forward, gold clinking against his fingers.
What if I, a heartless drow trying to rip apart everything you've loved, gave you a chance to reclaim history? What if you, a decade now, could stand for yourselves the base of Volsenstadt, could excavate for the cultural artifacts therein, could display them here in a museum where, long after the quarry has been spent, men and women of multiple cultures and races would come to admire what had been done? What if your children, studious and gifted, were part of an operation to raise the crashed Himmelsvard from the depths of the sea and restore it to operation?
The grandest silent image yet, an 80-foot cube depicting a view of the Underblad submersible, stylized emblem of Volsenstadt emblazoned along the side. Rilinid lets this image exist for a good half-minute before letting it fade.
More empty words, Tamar says. You can never trust the drow, Miatha adds. But isn't that the same blatant racism, the same horrid xenophobia they would accuse me of having? Or do they think me so powerful as to fabricate entire centuries of Svirfneblin history?
Incredulous look, followed by a wry chuckle.
Of course, these are just the dreams of an outcast drow. We'd need decades to make that all happen, and we must first concern ourselves with survival. Why, Sandor, born the same day as the vault's mill, must be repaired, and the ruined houses must be restored, so that you all have a comfortable place to live. Naturally, as great of an engineer as I am, I'm unfamiliar with your personal designs, which is why this is a public announcement and he hasn't been told this yet, so it'll be a surprise, but I'm making a formal request right here in this forum to ask if Sandor himself would be so kind as to take on the role of master builder for our fledgling kingdom here. He has the experience and the know-how, and I think he'll be a great contribution along with Lolas to ensure your safety and prosperity.
Head tilt, followed by a nimble leap down from the raised platform.
Because, and let's be clear on this, your problems are my problems, and your prosperity is my prosperity. Even if Tamar and Miatha are right, and I'm unfathomably evil, I'm not unfathomably stupid. You are my vassals. You're useful to me alive and well, safe and secure. I gain nothing from your suffering.
Rilinid begins slowly, perhaps ominously, walking towards and into the center of the crowd.
Because I don't make bad investments, you see. My goddess, the one who plucked me from ruin, Lady Vengeance, she won't let me. She drives me to protect my family.
At this point, Rilinid casts Vanish on himself, disappearing from sight, but he's still walking, still talking.
She requires I return to the nobles who nearly killed me. She asks I fulfill my destiny, and I change Drow society forever.
Rilinid now stops in the center of the gathered gnomes, one hand still full of ancient gold.
But I can't do it alone. I need her, and I need you.
He dispels Vanish.
This is your chance, Fasturvalt. Your one chance to change the future. A chance no one, not the dwarves, not Lord Gurney, would have ever given you. I am your overlord, your protector. I walk among you unseen so I may learn of your needs. I bear the scars of a vile society you've been taught to hate your entire lives. I offer you hope. An opportunity to reclaim lost glory, to forge a reality you can be proud of for the rest of your lives. I ask you to help me in this task.
A grim frown.
Because if you will not help me, then you should kill me right now. For that means you think me your conqueror, that I will only seek to ruin you. Decide, Fasturvalt. Decide as Lolas did 3 months ago. Because if you don't make your own fate, then who will?